the sound? How's the music? We have music, period. We have microphone, period. We're gonna have a good time, question mark. It is in fact Tuesday, February 24th, exclamation point. Yeah, let's do this. Alright. You know what we start with. You always know what we start with. Stretch it out. Big stretch. Hands rolling, dying, crying. Alright, let's do this. Hey there, heroes! My name is Hero Girl. I'm a friendly local neighborhood hero tuber, and I'm a professional idea haver. As I said, today is Tuesday, February 24th, 2026, and this is the Daily Grind. This is that time of the day where we come on and we grind our dailies. Maybe you've got dailies that you need to run. Maybe you've got a little project that you just need to put a little bit of time in each day in order to finish it up. Maybe you just finished working on some stuff. Maybe you just got off work. Maybe you just finished school. Maybe you just got done cleaning your apartment again for the weekly cleaning and you're exhausted, but you'd much rather be sitting down, filling out your brand new pre-modern deck that you found out that you actually love because there's so many cool things about it that you can put into it. This is the spot to be for that. This is the spot. So, here's how it goes. First hour, we play Magic. Second hour, we play Final Fantasy XIV. Except for tomorrow, where we're going to have a very special collab event. We're going to play Final Fantasy for the first hour. We'll play Magic for 2 hours after that. Decree of Justice is in this. Okay, excellent. Love to see that. We're going to hang out with Proxy Ask You. We're going to hang out with Proxy. We're going to play Brawl. We're going to yap. We're going to talk. We're going to hopefully, deepen our relationship and go from acquaintance into friendship. Be there. Be there. Cool. Cool. I promise. Promise. It's going to be great. Folks, got an interesting challenge today. Not like interesting as in like novel, but like interesting as in we have some options to pick from. It's attack with 45 creatures. Also, before I forget, Fran, thank you so much for the tier 1 subby. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And Lucky, thank you so much for the biddies. Guys, I will never, ever, ever stop thanking you for this. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. Having you guys drop by, even if you can't hang out the entire stream, even if you show up late, even if you gotta dip out early, anything like that. I just appreciate having y'all here. What are we gonna do as far as like a bunch of neuters attacking it? See, I need to make some changes to the Overlord deck. I could try out Dog. Yeah, let's try tuning some Dog Cannon. The deck isn't quite like finished, but I think we can promote her to stream time. Let's just guzzy her up just a little bit. What do I want? Oh, actually, I know the perfect sleep. God damn it! Fucking, I hate the slider. It never wants to cooperate. Yeah, there we go. Hate Bear Central. Take Renoa out. Right, try her, play her, love her. Here on Friday. We play some Final Fantasy Friday with Fran. Oh! So, like, here's the thing, right? Magic is still a far, far away from being able to actually get all of its cards on Arena. Hell, Modern is still a long ways away from being able to cast cards on Arena. Drop against Obnixilus, the adversary. Okay, this is gonna be borderline miserable. This guy could just like strip out our entire hand, come up to work with a ton of tokens that can snipe all of our smaller stuff. We're gonna want to make sure that they don't have like anything too fun, just like get rid of. But they're also just like gonna play general black, red, good stuff. So we would have to worry about like a Bargoyf or something taking over. Starfield Shepherd's pretty good here. Or do I do need to hold on to Kibera Takedown as like an actual spell? Fiend Hunter could be real. Lion Sash could be real. I could actually like Lion Sash right now, make this a 2/2, so that way it just never actually dies. I've got a few different options. I think I'm always doing that. Yeah, let's just go ahead and activate this now. That way we're just insulated. Next turn I can drop the Starfield Shepherd. Ooh, Dreadhorde Butchers are a real good one. Whenever this deals commentaries to a player, put a counter on this creature when it dies. Exile. Let's see, what is it? Damage equal to power to any target? No. I'm gonna hold on to this Solitude. Don't need to pop the Solitude. I do want to drop this Fiend Hunter. Because then that means that we can go ahead, we can push damage. Starfield Shepherd is also really good. The Starfield Shepherd is really good at dropping like the Guide of Souls or anything else. I don't remember what it would have at 1. That would help. 2 damage to any target. I can get rid of Solitude. I'm not going to do that though. Yeah, let's go ahead. We're going to Fiend Hunter now. And then rather than attack you with the Pilgrim for an extra point of damage, we are just going to go ahead, hold the Lion Sash. I'm in an awkward spot where I have to like pitch removal for removal. Yep, that's a bolt. That's fine. That's actually kind of exactly what I wanted. Because now... Yep, they can go ahead. They can hit me. Don't care about that. The Pilgrim's probably gonna get shot. 2 mana? If they have like a sack outlet, that's bad for me. Okay, Transmogren Crown. Doesn't matter as long as they don't like have creatures. Yeah, let's go ahead and just like keep growing this Lion Sash so that way they can't shoot it. And now this is interesting because what I can do, I can go equip. I need a Starfield first. I can shoot the Pilgrim. I'm trying to think. Is there any way for me to save my Pilgrim here? I'm gonna use this takedown to get rid. I probably should have done that like post-combat then. Heck. Giver and... Ooh, Selfless Savior helps out. Selfless Savior's pretty good. Haywire Might's pretty good. Mom would also be really good. Probably buys me more stuff back. But I also just like want more land. Yeah. Grab up the plains first. And then... Yeah. We go combat, attack for 3. I just trading. I mean, I guess if they get rid of the Shepherd, that's bad. Did not think this through. Did not think this through like one bit. Alright, yep. I guess I'm just eating it. Fucked up TBH, fucked up TBH. Yep, they shoot the Shepherd. Okay. Brownie Man, hey! Thank you for stopping by. You still on that night shift? Alright, yep. So, Ob's coming down. Ob makes a little duder.
My goons will make quick work of you.
Yeah, Transmogrant Crown. That also worked. Okay. And we get the Scoos. I can play the Solitude now. Alright, so there we go. That's gone. Ob gone.
Well, now, you've gone and ruined all
Yes, you're
my
also sick.
fun.
You know, I'm not happy that you're sick, but I am glad that we can, you know, that we get to be together on this day off, day where you can just like sit down, recover. All right, yep, they get to go ahead, make a little guy.
Oh, I have a new conquest.
Okay, so they have a little guy. I can attack with Pilgrim and Solitude. That's like 2 things I can do. Yeah, Pilgrim's gonna die. Actually, hold on. I could... No. This is absolutely what I wanted. Reconfigure attached. Solitude. That doesn't do anything like what I wanted to do. Heck. Yeah, I might have goobered that up. Yep, Pilgrim's dead. Dead, Jim. Dead. Sure, why not? Voice of Victory as well. I was supposed to tap the land to pay for it, and I was supposed to use this, and I was supposed to swing with Pilgrim and then get an Ob off the board. Fortunately, all Ob can do is, like, hit me for 2. That's all he can do. Yeah, I'll just do it. I am not in danger of getting lifed out. I also just, like, need for this. Ooh. Alright. Goodbye, Solitude. Ooh, drown in the Ichor is exactly what... Yep. Go boop, boop.
This isn't over.
Here's a Scoos. They only need like 1 more in order to like get off going. I can always sacrifice Voice of Victory to Flare Fortitude if I really need to. I'm kind of playing this super floppily. Meat Hook Massacre for 4. I'll go ahead and stuff. Yeah, there's no way for me. Like. Alright. Sloppy play. Sloppy play. Cannot sacrifice Angelo to protect Renault. That's not a thing that I'm allowed to do. We're both in top deck mode. I think my top deck's probably going to be a little bit better than their top deck.
Enough. Notions of morale.
Pass. My turn.
For me now, run.
Angelo's going to be a 3/3 minimum. Now they can try drawing extra cards off the crown.
Not worth the effort.
That's not ideal, but sure. Actually, they can just like get it now with their Phyrexian Tower. Don't like that. But what am I gonna do? Take the 3, keeps them from as mana. Yep, all the things triggered. They get to draw an extra card. Oh shit, I lost Angelo. Fuck, I didn't even think about that. God damn it. I am playing so loose right now. Yeah. I mean, I've still got like plenty of cards to pull this back, but I just majorly punted. Yeah, I'm gonna go tap out. Even if I were to somehow come back from this, it would just take way too long. I had complete control of that game and I just tossed it. Try that again. Like if I actually kill the thing before I warp in my shepherd, then I don't lose my shepherd and I still have that. If I attack in with my mana dork at Ob as well, then Ob is not there and I don't just like randomly lose it and they have to recast him again. Yeah, just so much that I could have done better. Anyway, who are we up against this time? Ishki Dragonclaw, the Vigilance Trample, Ward 1, 4/4 for 4. Begin combat if you've cast both a creature spell and a non-creature spell. Draw a card, put 2 counters on her. You got Mother of Runes, Aven Interrupter. Yeah, this is sorry. Got plenty of untapped lands. We've got Restless Prairie here to help us go wide. So they pretty much have to have like turn 1 Bolt. If we don't have anything turn 2, I can just play the Restless Prairie for tempo. And then we can talk about what we're going to do proactively, either or reactively. And then just because I know that people tend to like wander in after the fact, heads up folks, tomorrow we're going to have a very special collab day with Proxy Ask You. We're going to play Final Fantasy XIV for our first hour, and then for the 2 hours following that, I'm going to be playing Brawl with her, and we're just going to yap. Yeah, so that's actually exactly. Alright, so now we have, like, a ton of options. Depends on what they do with their third turn. They can't cast Eshki, but they can go into, like, Cultivate if they really want to. There's some really... Okay, I think... What do you do with this deck, actually, to ensure that you're casting both? Gets rid of Stubborn Denial. It might just be Aven Interrupter for tempo-based reasons. And the Halfling, yeah, the Halfling gets to attack him for... Wait, no, I could have... Wait, no, what was I thinking? I could have blocked in the main pro green. What was I thinking? Okay, I am like... Wake up, girl. Wake up. Wake up. They were completely tapped out and they got a free point of damage on me. Let's not let them... Eshki has Vigilance, Trample, and Ward. That gets outscaled rather quickly. Is it actually better to go Elite Spellbinder? I think it is. Because if they have their commander out, I can always just, like, fiend that out. Okay, so they have Concerted Defense, Stern Scalding, Faithless Looting, Tormod's Crypt. That would work. So they have 4 mana, and they can cast either of these right away. Vigilance Trample Ward 1, but you don't have haste. So the Tormod Crypt, Stern Scalding. This counters target creature's spell power 2 or toughness 2. That fucks with me a lot more than the Concerted Defense. Yeah, let's go ahead and make the defense harder to use. Now they can go ahead and they can Tormod's Crypt, they can Faithless Looting. It doesn't matter. We're just going to use Fiend Hunter to get rid of her for a turn. Faithless Looting does dig them through. It gets rid of the sort of defense that the thing. Oh yeah, the Stern Scalding actually gets a lot harder to cast with the Aven Interrupter out too. Then, like, I guess they could recast Eshki next turn. Oh. They didn't use the Elvish Mystic to pay for that. Okay, so now the Tormod's Crypt's the only thing they can cast this turn. So their Gravy Train's gone. Oh, yeah, she does draw a card. Okay, never mind. I guess there is value to actually doing the thing. Okay, Gilded Goose, sure. Is that they can do stuff again next turn. But they're gonna have a hard time actually, like, getting any. At least if this works out the way that we do. Go to combat. Attack it with the Spellbinder. Why did they cast the Goose? That's the question. I could just, like, play the Aven Interrupter. But I'd just rather take away their win condition. I guess it's... Well, hold on. Let's think about this for a second. I guess if they just always get to cast Ishki, and they can fill out the rest of the deck with nothing but, like, roll, then it doesn't matter that you need to cast both, right? Okay, I can see the theory there. I can see the logic. Also, we're going just wide enough that the Restless Prairie is gonna be a real card here soon. Yep. So they go ahead, they cash Eshki again. Golding. Riber's Purse. Casting it for 0 just to get the redraw off Eshki. Okay. Oh, that's a real thing now, but if you run out of creatures... Curious are in... Bridgework Battles would be +2/+2. I could give Pro Red. That would not work out well. Let's go to combat. We'll attack with both. Then I can theoretically... Yeah, do Pro Red and fight afterwards. Yeah. Yeah, just be turbo aggro. No, that wouldn't work. Be like, what? It's only +2/+2. Yeah. That doesn't work out the way I want it to. So then, am I playing Renoa? Might as well. They don't have, like, Ultra Signing, maybe? What does my commander do? Renoa Hardy makes a 1/1 dog when she comes into play, and then whenever she attacks, she gives another creature +1/+1 for each creature I control to end the turn. So the general idea is that we're going to play Hate Bears, play a bunch of things that just gum up the board, and then we can attack for big damage by putting all the power on onto like a flyer or a creature with trample. The Vigilance is relevant here. Okay. They still haven't cast a creature yet, though. But if they hit, like, any mana dork, that works. So, Brony Man, what you haven't been around to see is that I am working on building every Final Fantasy commander as a commander in Brawl. Since I'm currently playing Final Fantasy VIII with Fran on Final Fantasy Fridays. That means Renoa's getting her action. I thought about making her as a standard commander, but you just get so many more cards to help her out in regular Brawl. Okay, so is this going to be La Creatura? They've got 4 mana available, so you can get Oracle the Alpha. Yep. Okay. All right. Deck's actually working for them. Looks like. That's gonna be 8. Yeah, that's gonna be 8. This is. And also, they're like completely tapped out to pass the blockers. Block. I'm gonna absorb 4 points of damage here. We'll say tap for red. Tap for red. Yeah, you don't have anything that taps right now. You got Delighted Halfling. That's about it. And then next turn, Noah's gonna make big. We have Battleworks Bridge too. I could go. I kind of need more land drops. So I don't get to hold up the Aven Interrupter. I need to hold up the Aven Interrupter. Let's go combat. Hold on. I can also just like play Bird of Paradise to get some extra power. I can also just like pro-red the Mother of Runes. Pro-red, Renoa gets to attack in. They have to block with either Oracle or Delighted Halfling. Yeah. Yeah, let's go. No, I don't get to hold up the Aven Interrupter no matter what. I can either play birds. Oh, I can either play Interrupter or I can play Bridge Warrior. I don't get to cast both. So then we're going to go combat. And we're going to attack with Renoa and Spellbinder. And then we are also going to tap. Give Renoa Pro Red. This doesn't have reach, right? Oh, yeah, it's got Ward 1 too, so like, you know. Oh, I guess I could have like... I don't want to make it Pro Greens, but I guess I could have made it Pro Blue. And like, the Oracle can just like deal 2 damage. Like, I'm basically going to be trading my Spellbinder here. I'm going to target spell. Oh, would that have been lethal? If I had actually just bridge worked... Oh my god, I think I missed lethal, chat. Oh, I could have no Elemental Blast? That's true. No, wait, no. Yeah, no Elemental Blast would do it. Yeah, I missed lethal. Whoops. I got 2 in my head about this. Heck. I messed up because I was supposed to go... I was supposed to do the thing. Whoops. Now we've lost both creatures. Derp. If I had just fought the fucking bird, I would have been fine. Alright, we're still learning though. We're gonna take this in stride. Don't get so tunnel vision on the commander that you just like F6. Oh, hold on. What would Null Elemental Blast even do? Doesn't it counter multicolored spells? Alright, so they have Jace Reawaken. Plot? Sure. Did you do anything? Okay. Cast Ragavan, sure. Okay, we got there anyway. Despite, you know, misfiring the Angelo cannon, we got there. So, like, this deck is surprisingly... Well, let me put it this way. I am pleasantly surprised that Renoa is actually a legitimate reason to run itself as a command. Right? Like, you see her and she's kind of like a 5-mana do-nothing. She's a 4/4, so she's a little undercosted. Or rather, she's a little underpowered for her cost compared to what Green White could normally get. You get Angelo Cannon, you get a dog. Neither of these are really doing anything on their own. But she does stack up and help enable some really good finishers. Like, you can put it onto the Bright Glass Gear Hulk. You can get some lifelink with the Solitude. The guard is a really cool Flampler. Block Math is supposed to get a little dog. I mean, yeah, you do get a little dog. So that's already reason enough to want to run her. Basically, I put in every card that would benefit from the extra power to help push damage. So, your mono green trampoline guys. Is the dog legendary? Yeah, the dog is legendary. So you can't just like blink Renoa to get a bunch of 1/1s that don't do anything. We go first. We're up against Tivar Jubilant Brawler. This one's gonna have so many utility creatures that we don't like. This works out if we draw into like a 7th card, but we can also just get Thoughtseized. If we get Thoughtseized, we can still play Solitude or Virtual Loyalty. If we get Fatal Push, then I guess I'm holding up Virtual Loyalty. Wrist! Let's put a stop to that, like, immediately. Wrist only exiles artifacts and enchantments, but this is an artifact or enchantment. And I would like to hold on to that. We can surveil with the Porticola next. Hopefully build up to a Solitude. White of the Reliquary, that is a very, very good one. Grand Abolisher, do I need that? Do I need that for next turn? It stops Felia from getting donked on. I can hold up Gilded Goose. I can play Felia now. This is also a good dog. Honestly, I could have named Angelo Felia. I could have. Bloodghast. That is okay. So they get a free land off the Bloodghast, and then they get the Bloodghast back. Sure, gotcha. They sack. They search for a land. The Bloodghast comes back. Or else it doesn't. I think I have to take the 2 here, because I'm just going to fail ya, and... yeah, I'm just going to fail ya. And then lock him out of having relevant creatures with Skyclave Apparition. This is a ridiculous dog. Yep, okay. Here's Felia. They can push the dog. If they push the dog, I might have the Solitude. Here's Grand Abolisher. Yep, so they're gonna go ahead. They're gonna get their gas back. They get their 1 land out of the way, and that's really all they need to get. They get a little 1/1 off the Grist. Yep. But Bloodghast don't block. Technically speaking, I can also, like, blink out the way. Alright, we're set. Now we can go ahead, attack with Felia. Blink out the Apparition. Oh, right! And it doesn't happen till end of turn. Gotcha. But Grand Abolisher is relevant because it does also turn off activated abilities. That's actually huge for us now that I'm thinking about it. Turns off activated abilities. There's a Bloodghast. I'm still going to get rid of the White of the Reliquary. Like, it's just good to be gone. And Grand Abolisher, if they don't have any removal for it, just completely shuts down probably most of their deck. Activated abilities of artifacts, creatures, or enchantments. Yeah. Which Tivar does not enjoy. And then they also just have to deal with the fact that Tivar is going to continue to get eaten by the apparition while this dog continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger. This is a pretty fucked up dog, isn't it? Meanwhile, I can even just, like, slam the virtue. Phalia is a menace? No, Phalia doesn't have menace. Phalia has flash. Lo siento. Lo siento. Actually, oh my god, I just realized. I should be putting Ocelot Pride into this deck. Because that cat has First Strike and Lifelink, and that's really good with Renault as well. Assuming that I don't already have it in there. I do not. Alright, so we're going to put a cat in. What are we taking out? We're not going to take out another cat. So yeah, we got Trampler. We have... This will eventually become a Trampler. This is also a Trampler that keeps us from being countered. I put in as many of the can't be countered stuff as possible. This is a fight spell and then also gives Trample. Relevant. Bird Heirloom also gives Trample. Destiny Spirit. That way it can't be countered. Yeah, and then also all the, you know, can't cast spells on art type stuff. So like, yep. Trample. 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 Toski does not have Trample, but Trotsky can't be countered. Follow for the extra Hate Bear essence, although I could see cutting Linvala. But her having the flying is relevant because that's just another way to get evasion. We got Garrick's Uprising, which will give it Trample. Goblin Changeling over Rex Sage, just because then we can name Human, and then that sometimes comes up. Major Captain, Fiend Hunter, Banisher Priest. Many of the removal cards as we can fit in there. I could probably see cutting Scoos. I've got 3 other cards that are good against Graveyard Hate. Convention. Scoos just kind of like the Bristlebane Battler, also just another big Trampler. Voice of Victory to shut down counter spells. Lion Sashes, Graveyard Hate. Kinscar Sentry is kind of like Ocelot Pride because it has First Strike and Lifelink, but this can also cheat creatures into play. Ocelot Pride just makes a bunch of creatures, which makes the Angelo Cannon so much bigger. You got Demi of the Silk Shoots, aka the Spider's Man. Soulsteel Axe, Shadow Spear, also just like more trample. All of the 1-drops that you can want for days, including the Haywire Might. Static Prison in here because you can search it off of the Bright Glass Gear Hulk. And sometimes you just need to get rid of something for a turn. Curse of Silence will slow them down. Guide of Souls. I was willing to play Guide of Souls like on its own. Trap Gorger is here. Yeah, I think I could afford to cut like 1 Scoos to put in cats. Goblin Changers, you're my favorite Goblin Saproling insect. Was that a particularly deep pool in the first place? Honestly, even if we don't get the daily done today, we're going to be playing Magic with Proxy tomorrow for a couple of hours, so I imagine there'll be plenty of games where we can just, like, turn dudes sideways and have fun. Yeah, I've got a question. I'm actually struggling with something. What decks do I play with Proxy for our hangout? Also, we're up against Rowan and Will. This is dangerous. This is so dangerous and bad for us. Means that the swords doesn't do a whole lot. Felia's okay. We have Herd Heirloom to help us potentially draw into stuff. Basically going to be playing we're playing against a blue-red, what I'm sure is some amount of Storm, and then also like some amount of control, like Storm combo. We can go turn 1, go to Lotus, flash into Phalia. We got Hurt Heirloom to help out. I'll keep this hand, but know that I am not expecting swords to like do anything. And I'll lead on the Verge just so that way we have that little extra bit of flexibility. Yeah, especially, but Mutable Explorer is also really good. That's true. Let's see. This is also... Okay. Okay, that kind of works. I'm going to drop Erd Heirloom. The mana can only be spent to cast creature spell. That's preordained, sure. I'm not going to play Felly yet until their end step. That could be counter magic. That could represent burn. But if I can, like, get Felia going and start blinking this goose. Ah, they went for double. Excellent. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could play Renoa next turn. But I'm not going to do that. No, not just yet. I can't do that yet. If I just like play into a board wave, I'm gonna feel really sad about this. But also, I can just cast Renoa next turn. They're not gonna cast Rowan and Rowan into, you know. I can only activate this as sorcery, right? Yeah. Yeah. So then Sentry. Am I just like sandbagging then? I can just like sandbag. They're gonna bolt my dog. Don't bolt my dog, bro. Don't bolt my dog, bro. Like, I have so much pressure right now. I don't need to do a whole lot. I just kind of have to wait and see. Okay, so it's Fury. Fury can kill Felia. Oh, I think they just got it. I'm gonna lose my dog. I guess they could theoretically have like some sort of flicker effect, but no. I am going to go ahead and feed just in case it is storm lines that they're looking for here. Okay, this is now officially awkward. I can play Renoa. I can probably even play her twice. I really hate it if they run into like a polarize, right? What am I doing? Am I just waiting to like try and double spell? I don't want to run at the changeling. I could actually double spell. And I can do it with... Yeah. Alright, sure. I'll play Renoa. I'll play Renoa. I'll play the Sentry afterward. Player denial, that's fine. Yeah, move commander. Ron, I don't see any messages from you before, so your answer is probably not. Alright. Opponent burned through a counterspell. Opponent went through an unexpected windfall. Opponent is killing my Sentry. Gotcha. Lion Sash, you said. I can dig it. Let's see, and then this is like what? White, white, white. Yeah. Exile. I'm being honest, just exile the Yardang. And also reconfigure attached to the Gilded Goose. Yeah, exile, reconfigure to the Gilded Goose, past turn. And then we'll just start eating stuff out of the graveyard. Yeah. Oh, you're going with Will. Interesting. Up to one target creature has base power, toughness 02, draw 2 cards. Gotcha.
I may be a new to this marriage.
Yeah. This goose already has base power 02. Sure, yeah. Whatever you want, King. I even have an Iganjo? Let's see. How big can we get this? We can eat 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we can just eat. Land drop. We can eat. Land drop. Eat. Land drop. That's 4 mana. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. Gotcha. Deals combat damage to a player, draw a card? I could draw a card. I like drawing cards. Do I really... Let's go ahead and get the raid then. Just so they don't actually get a chance to ever get rid of it.
Hey, don't make me get Garrick.
Might as well. Wait, did Will just say, don't make me get Garrick? Okay, yeah, barrel. Yep, that's absolutely...
Just take a moment and cool off.
Okay, so there's your Swords to Plowshares. Exiled. Sweet. Sure. Cyclone Rift bouncing my Lion Sash? No, that's rude. I can cast Renoa. I mean, that last card in their hand is counter magic, then like... Oh, Amphibian Downpour! Holy shit. Okay. Opponents living the dream. They can draw 2 and then replay Will, I guess. Nope, Treasure Cruise instead. Draw 3. Feels bad. Feels bad. And Temporal Manipulation. They're doing exactly what they want to do. Until your next turn.
You need to slow down. Let's talk.
Draw 2. They're digging. They're digging real hard.
Let's hit the books.
No! I hate Key to the Archive. Well, I hate when they have Key to the Archive, because then they can just, like, get anything. Let's hope that their draft wasn't all that good. I'm on... This is... Well, at the very least, I'm definitely going to get to attack with a lot of little duders. And I think that's pretty neat of me. Yeah. Let's go ahead and... We need to jam the Lion Sash, even if it's into counter magic. We can go ahead and reconfigure attach to... Attach it to Renoa. Why didn't I use the heirloom? Okay. Go ahead, tap for white. There's a Selfless Savior. I wanted to use the heirloom to play the Lion Sash so I would have like just more mana available. Now I guess I'm just using it to eat Temporal Manipulation, Treasure Cruise, Brainstorm, all that stuff. Like all of these are 1/1s. All of these can kill Will. Ah, yeah, that works. Get a redraw. Fine. Selfless Savior comes down. Go combat. I guess we're attacking both on Will, just so that way he doesn't stick around. They want to recast him, they can. They have to spend a lot of mana to do that, though. Pass the turn. Confounding Conundrum. That's a redraw for them. That's all that is. And it's not Dawn of the 7th. Oh, it might have been Electrolyze, actually. Yeah, I think they got Electrolyze off of the key to the archive. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, that would be most of their mana to replay Will. Rowan doesn't do as much.
If you want to, think smarter.
They can plus dog small. Dog has been frozen. Dog is small. That's a small dog.
And cool off.
I want... We'll get there. And then, yeah, we need to exile, like, the temporal manipulation always forever. Run! Breaker of Silence, you say? Can't be countered? Can't be targeted? Has indestructible? How do I lose? Go combat. Swing. Both at will. Then I only need to get you up to 5. So let's go ahead and get a couple cards out of mine. Yeah, convert those resources. Convert. Convert, convert, convert.
None of my strategies worked.
And then, yeah. Here's Papa Thrun. He's indestructible on my turn. He can't be targeted by non-green spells or abilities. And now we can just, like, start drawing cards.
I just need to keep a cool head.
Yeah, we can just start, like, drawing cards
I
now.
have learned so much.
They have all the mana in the world. I need to heckin' close this game out. Yeah, and then let's not miss an opportunity to, like, eat more cards out of the grave. Ranger Captain Eos use. Don't mind if I do.
We can still learn from defeat.
Draw a card. Alright, here's Ranger Captain Eos. We're going to set a stop during their upkeep so we can activate the effect. And just, like, keep them from casting anything. That does it. Excellent. I have seen so many people play Ranger Captain of Eos and then not use the sack effect to, like, keep me from advancing my board. And when that is the thing I am most terrified of. And then, you know, just to finish our train of thought, we can grab any 1-drop creature. Giver is whatever, Mom's whatever, Delay Halflings, kind of whatever. We can't grab Ocelot Pride. Esper Sentinels, kind of whatever. Might be the Haywire Might, just to get rid of the key of the archive, just in case I was wrong about the Electrolyze. I don't think I am. But no. 12, Guide of Soul. I mean, I guess there really aren't, like, any huge 1-drops that I could grab here. I guess it would have to be Mother of Runes then, because if I grab Mother of Runes, and then I give Renoa protection from blue, the enchantment falls off, and suddenly Angelo Cannon is back online. Oh no! I just realized! They turned my Doge into a Frog! Whew. That was a good game, though. Opponent, like, had me on the fucking ropes. Like, I know scoreboard says 28-8 and that they didn't have, like, any real pressure. but they were holding on for dear life, and I was having a lot of trouble actually like trying to turn the corner on this game. But you know, that's why we play cards like Thrun. Can't be the target of non-green spells your opponent's control or abilities from non-green sources your opponent control. So like we can actually target Thrun with Renoa, even if Renoa isn't. Spell, destroy target creature. What do you think? Time for one more? Yeah, we got time for one more. Then we'll switch over to Final Fantasy XIV. Hey chat, I actually have a question for you that I'm going to bring up. Like, you know that I love Brawl. Absolutely adore it. Absolutely love it. Absolutely cannot keep this hand, and oh my god, we're up against Ketramos. That is, don't like that. Don't like that whatsoever. Especially when... Can't exactly hit. What would we need to get against Ketramos? We need a way to turn off their artifacts, like Ghost Vacuum. So that way they can't just, like, get free draw. And I don't know how people ever beat Ketramos. I need to build this deck so I can see it for myself. Like, you can play some really hard control with this and then just fill it with all the graveyard hate too. Ground seal. Okay, yeah, that's probably like a way to do it. Curse of Silence could help with that. Get Lost doesn't deal with the artifacts. Skrelv deals with the removal. Starfield Shepherd. Keen-Eyed Curator. What would... Let's see. We'd have to keep 6. Put one back. This could work. I don't get turn 1. Oh, no. Wait, hold on. This hand doesn't work because Hushwood Verge wouldn't actually tap for white. We're on the draw. Is this hand any better? Nah. There's not a lot of decks where I just outright don't want to play the matchup, but Ketramos is a pretty miserable matchup for me. Unless you, let's see, you would have to have some way to exile him while he's an enchantment, I think is how you... No, wait, no, he's a creature, right? He's not a Theros god, he's an Amonkhet god, which means that he's a creature on board, but he has requirements before he can attack and block. So you'd have to have a way to shut off his abilities, first of all. So a Patriarch's Humiliation could work temporarily until they inevitably sack him and then replay him. Heliod's Punishment, that would be a good way to beat him. If you're playing blue, the answer is pretty much just counter him. But you have like amphibian stuff that you could do to hold him off. Let's see. It's pretty much just like trying to keep him off board because he's the draw engine. The issue isn't the Ghost Vacuum and all the other stuff that like enable him. It's Ketramos himself. So you just need to keep Ketramos off the board. It just happens that a lot of the removal that we tend to run is nullified against him. I mean, I guess we have Thrun. They can't ever like deal with Thrun unless they play like a Farewell or something. I guess that's the thing. We do have Skrelv, we have Mom and Giver, so I guess we have a better chance of fighting through that than we thought, but let's think about this for a second. Like, Solitude is removal, Thrun has protection. Think about this from a deck building perspective, right? Rather than just bemoaning, oh, this card is so powerful, it's overpowered. Let's actually think about what our game plan would be for the next time that we would be playing this deck against, right? So, Shadow Spear, that also deals with him because it turns off the Indestructible. Hey, Warmites. Only exiles non-creature artifacts. We have static prison for a little bit. Brawl for protection. Mother of Runes protection. Giver protection. Curse of Silence will slow him down. We did have Curse of Silence in one of those hands, but because we just did not have any white, I didn't like our chances of keeping that hand. Get Lost doesn't... Get Lost and Takedown don't do anything until we have Shadow Spear. Abolisher. This only works on our turn. It doesn't shut down anything on the opponent's turn, which is when they want to be using their effects anyway, because that's the way that Catcher Must gives them draws. I guess we could try aggroing them. Frenzied Gala. We could just like go with the down plan, I guess. We have a decent amount of artifact and enchantment, so that's... Yeah. Real quick, let's double check what we have in terms of like artifact and enchantment. Let's see. Yeah, there's Witch Hunter. We have Knight of Autumn here. We have Chomping Changeling. Which I agree is a pretty fantastic little guy. We have Skyclave Apparition. We have Lauren. We have Aven Interrupter to help slow them down too, so that's that. Banisher Priest, Fiend Hunter. Okay, yeah, we have... Right. We have 2 more cards that help, like, slow them down. Okay, so we have a lot more options than I thought. That's good to know. That is very good to know. Crystal of Bane. Purge. Ketramos was one of those decks that I was not thinking about when I built this. But I also don't have to play against Ketramos a lot. I think he's fairly high tiered. There's no way for me to know that for certain. But I just don't. But he's definitely one that you have to respect. So we have like 5 different effects that would deal with... We have 6 different effects? Is that it? Looks like it. Yeah, 6 different effects that would deal with artifacts that help enable Ketramos. Okay. Okay, I think we have our game plan for when we see him next time. Remember that you have to keep Ketramos off the board with exile effects. That you just kind of have to, like, take care of his enabling pieces, get rid of those ghost vacuums, whatever, say goodbye to your graveyard. It's not impossible by any means, but, like, it's such a pain in the ass. Alright. We ended up not getting another game, but I think that thought experiment was actually worth the few minutes it took to just, like, sit down, evaluate, think, adapt, strategize, overcome. Alright, let's go play Final Fantasy. Oh, right. So, before I realized that we were up against Ketramos, I was gonna say, hey, chat, I love playing Brawl. You like hanging out with me and playing Brawl, allegedly. But, like, what if I decided that I wanted to do, like, do a special day, right? What if I want to change things up? What if we get another Thunder Junction situation where I just do not want to stream what the current set is? I don't want to stream Magic while, or at least, you know, current Brawl Magic while the set is there. Would y'all be interested in going back to Ye Ode Moto, Ye Ode Mitgo, Ye Ode Magic the Gathering Online, and hang out with me if I do some pre? I was joking about it with my wife, but, like, no, they have pre-modern leagues on BitGo now. And we have some decently large tournaments here in the Vancouver area. Hello, how's life going today? Hey, Sam! Today you are tired. I assume that most days you're tired, but, like, I assume that today is a special exception in terms of, like, how tired you are. Okay. I am tired too, actually. I didn't even do like my full cleaning routine. I'm still tired. How many? Let's see. We got like 900 poetics. I'm maxed out. Oh, I'm maxed out on wolf. I get to go and first of all, I'm gonna take out this gal's grip. Glam. Glam. I'm gonna try out the glam. China Legend. Short hairpin. Anti guard. Okay. I like that. Yeah. We didn't even like stay out particularly late. I think we got home at a reasonable hour. We got home a little bit after I would normally go to bed. We have on Wondrous Tales this week. Yo, we're winning. We're winning. Front lines. Go ahead. Go to. I need to go to the wolf den so I can spend these PvP marks. I am completely topped off, and there was something that I was waiting to get specifically when I was capped. Quote, I yearn for the routine, but life is full of surprises, like having to go to the forest and clean the water supply tank. Lay oof. I know how that is. I know how that is. Nice, David. What was I holding? It wasn't the horns, right? No way it wasn't. It wasn't the Magitech. Was it the... Oh, it must have been the Fashionably Feathered. Weird, I thought there was something that I needed for 20,000 for. But I guess not. Got 405 Glamour Prisms, plenty of Ventures. Now I need more. Was it the mini tech conveyor? Was it the minions? Might be the minion. Wind up cheerleader. I think it was just getting the Fashionably Feathered. Double check. Furnishings, materia. No. Okay. No, it was just the Fashionably Feathered. Weird. Yep, that's those are Homestuck horns, all right. You too could be a Homestuck if you just do some PvP. Hey Bandit, hey, thank you for stopping by. We are sleepy, we're good, and I am telling everyone how this time tomorrow we're gonna be playing some Magic with Proxy Askew. So like, you know, feel free to stop on by, hang out with me and a cool witch, hang out with a couple of 34-year-old hags. Yeah, I really. All right, I'm gonna be. Oh wait, no. I'm gonna be. I need to do stuff right. Stuff. Oh. We'll go to OK Zundu. We'll queue into front lines, and then we'll do our dailies while waiting for the front line. Gotcha. The Hollowing Horns from last year were very Homestuck too. I forgot about 2 years. Yeah, that's right. It was 2 years ago. I forgot about that. I was almost free, Sam. I was almost free and almost forgot that, you know, there's Homestuck in heckin' Final Fantasy. Another Bonoi? Another Bonoi? Another Bonoi. What do I think? What? Yeah. I am thinking I want to be on DPS for frontlines assignment and doing the. That is what I am thinking. Because even though the reputation quests don't give all that much XP, every little bit counts. And like Black Mage is already level 6, is almost like level 66. We're halfway there. once we get to level 71, it's all clear sailing. That you get so much XP in the Shadowbringer's Reputation quest. Like like a definitely hugely non-negligible amount. Like maybe not as like fast or consistent as say, you know, just doing the roulettes, but you know, you don't get funny dances for doing daily roulettes. Okay, Chat, you're familiar with the idea of just like you know, the retro tech movement, right? Well, it's not really like a movement, but it is a phenomenon in which people are cutting off their subscription services and all the modern conveniences in order to go back to the simpler and better understood days of physical media, which is very based and incredible. It's the idea that, hey, you don't need a Spotify subscription. Don't fucking pay $20 a month when you can just like spend that on CDs and like build music files and stuff like that, right? It's building your own music collection and using open source music apps as opposed to, you know, letting a leech live under your armpit for 5 fucking years. It's, you know, it's hacking your old ROMs and CD games so that way you can still play stuff, because Nintendo will delist these games off of stores and eventually close things down. You know, like they did with the 3DS last year. Either last year or the year before. Pre-modern feels a lot like... Pre-modern feels like... Hey, remember when Magic was nowhere near as high powered? Remember when you could play as Sarah Angel and not be embarrassed? Remember when like Call of the Herd was one of the best cards you could play because it was just 2 3/3s for 7 mana over the course of like 2 turns, and it felt super bad to have to spend a counterspell on it? Remember that? Quote, I hate Spotify. I stream the songs in the musician YouTube channel and download the MP3 in magical places. Exactly. So one of the appeals that I did have with pre-modern was that you get to go back, you get to play with much older cards. But I didn't really have a deck that I really just loved for it. Then we went out to play some pre-modern locals. I'm going primarily because, you know, my wife wants to go. I want to play Magic. I like playing Magic. I'll take this opportunity to play Magic, but I'm going primarily because my wife wants to. I get a chance to sit down, I get to jam some games. And you know what? I actually start to really enjoy the deck that I'm playing. The deck that she helped me find and put together. I don't... Just... So like, now that I've had a chance to actually like play the deck against someone who is not my wife, this is not an insult to my wife, but like my wife is also... So like, at the time she was trying out some really grindy stuff that made me kind of have a hard time evaluating whether or not I am enjoying the deck enough to play. So like, you know, just getting out there and trying a few different matchups, seeing how it feels in those different matchups helped go a long way. And like, the more I thought about it, the more I realized, you know, one of the great things about getting to play, you know, this Jeskai pre-modern deck, is that I get to play a couple of cards that I don't really get to play in other formats. I've been trying to figure out what that magic sauce is for getting into a format that my wife really wants to enjoy with me. And it comes down to like 3 things. This was something that someone in my Discord mentioned. He was interested in hearing like what kind of decks I find interesting, what I like to play, that sort of thing. And I realized the thing that I like to play comes down to 3 things. 1, it has to have a lot of really interesting smaller decisions. I was playing the Survival of the Fittest Infestation deck. It's a toolbox deck, right? The deck that gives you an enchantment called Survival of the Fittest, where you can pay a mana, discard a creature card, you get to search for any creature card in your deck and add it to your hand. And then there's like really cool cards that you can play with that can be cast for free or cheaper if you discard them. So you can just like chain a bunch of really cheap and powerful spells together. But you also have cards that come back into your hand from your graveyard every turn, so you just like get to build a little engine. You have enablers that can allow you to either go wide or go tall depending on the situation. I think that level of decision management and trying to decide when you want to shift gear and how you're going to attack the opponent is really cool. It lacks for interaction and removal. You are just kind of saying, all right, we ball most of the time. But it is really good, and it checks that box, right? It checks that box for me in a huge way. The second thing is, well, actually, hold on. To kind of further extrapolate on that point, when I'm playing Brawl, right? When I'm playing Brawl, one of the decks that I've just kind of fallen in love with is the Matoya deck. The Matoya, jam a bunch of Scry and Surveil effects into the deck. Even though that is a traditional control deck, which I have historically not really cared for playing, it is so much fun for me to play because the act of, okay, I have to decide whether to Scry or Surveil this card away and how I want to sequence stuff, that is really fun and engaging for me. I don't doubt that there are people out there who would look at that and be like, my brain is circuiting because I don't know what I'm supposed to do, or I have to make so many decisions all at once. But for me, that is peak gameplay. That is peak gameplay. It gives me a lot of agency is what it does. Unlike, say, a burn deck, or like a mono white or mono black aggro deck, where the only real decision is, am I pushing? Am I pushing? How hard am I pushing? There's a little bit more nuance to it for that, but it usually comes down to just kind of that, right? And then pretty soon you're living off of the top deck. You don't have any sort of deck manipulation to help you dig through for what you need. And that ends up being the Achilles heels of some of these decks that I built. Like, I have mono red goblins, and it has some interesting decision in Brawl, but it's not like the 60 card version of goblins where you have a lot of flexibility in what you do. It's a pretty straightforward throw units at the board and hope that, some of them explode. Matoya is so cool. I would love to be like her once I get way older. Same. Like, if you're gonna be an old gizzard when you grow up, you might as well be her. Now, that's probably what Y'shtola is gonna end up turning into. Damn, that bard got away. Anyway. It's also part of why Feather is still one of my favorite decks, right? Like, I don't play her all the time because I still feel a little precious about her. I still feel like she's one of those decks that, until I figure out exactly how I'm playing her in a given match, it's a deck that just feels so fragile. But there are also so many fucking decisions that keep the deck feeling cool and fresh. Now, that being said, a deck that I absolutely love, but I barely play because it just doesn't hold my attention as often, Kalia. Because so often her Brawl games boil down to, okay, did I get the big Chungus on board? Yes. Opponent has decided to scoop now because I have the big Chungus on board and they cannot beat big Chungus. And like, the point of getting to that is the fun. It's the fighting to get Kalia on board and to resolve the big spell, to resolve the big Chungus, to establish dominance. But like, once the thing happens, once I do the thing, the game is over. Doing the thing won me the game. Hero, it's okay just to say you like new magic, not old magic. # joking. Okay, yeah, but like, that's not the point. First of all. Like, I know, like, okay, I get it. That's Fran is doing a silly. I get it, haha. But this isn't like new card versus old card, right? This deck, this strategy is linear in a way that I will find novel for a little bit, but then I will quickly move on because the deck feels solid. And decks that I should, in theory, like, I end up dropping because they don't have that sort of engagement. They don't have that sort of self-agency that I'm looking for. And that's all just like the first step. The first step is that it is the actual gameplay of the deck. The second step is the aesthetic. Like, part of why I keep Kalia together, even in paper. God damn it, we lost me. The reason why I keep Kalia even in paper is because the aesthetic is gorgeous, right? Angels, demons, and dragons. Playing with a tiny person who just warps in big creatures. Like fucking JoJo stand style. I love it. I love it. I love Feather in part because I get to play with Feather, who is an angel. And then I get to play with cool red-white heroic cards like 10th District Legionnaire. Great. I love it. Oro stuff. I love it. Matoya actually lets me play with a ton of really cool utility cards. He lets me play with quite a few fairies, and I love the fairies. I also get to play with a bunch of the cantrips, things like Serum Vision, things like Ponder. Well, every deck gets to play Ponder, but you know what I mean. Serum Visions, the Curate, stuff like that. Yeah, but you could just play All the Anima. I mean, yeah, but like, here's the thing. I did play with All the Anima, and I was bored. Like, Mayal does kind of the same thing as Kalia, but it's just check the top cards of your deck for Big Chungus and then put Big Chungus into play. And also, there's the colors aspect of it, and that I get to play with the white angels and the red angels, but there aren't like any real white-green angels. Meanwhile, some of the most fun angels for me are in white-black as well. And then there's also just the idea that once I realized that what I want to do in Naya colors is actually play with angel tokens, that was when I found a Naya deck that I really wanted. That was when I started playing with G-Red. And I was like, oh man, I just get to populate angel tokens. And I get to make some less linear decisions here. That's fantastic. I love that. There's cool sequencing, there's cool engines that you can build up. Like, there's nothing wrong with just playing Mayal and then playing Big Chungus. But, you know, I'm looking for something slightly different. So when we're talking about, like, that survival infestation deck, the other half of that is infestation. It's zombie infestation. It's a discard 2 cards to make 1 2/2 zombie token. Just 1 zombie token. That's a horrible rate for a zombie token, discarding 2 cards. Except, because you're playing with the madness cards that let you cast for cheap and or free, and also you're playing things like Squeak, Goblin to Bob, and Dolphy Horror to, you know, what's that? Yeah, and Squeak and Provoking Horror to get back into your hand for free. You get to build that engine. Well, now I get to play with zombie tokens, and zombie tokens very much are my synergy. They are my aesthetic. That is a creature type that I love playing with. So not only do I have a deck that has an aesthetic I love. Oh, we lost the adders. God damn it. That is what it is. We're here for the experience. I don't even know why I said that. Like, the actual winning doesn't care, but like, I don't know. I guess there is just like a cosmic annoyance that comes up when you see when you see the scoreboard and you're like, wow, my team was like half the points of whoever was in the lead. It wasn't even close. Like, wow, okay. Sure, yeah. Obligatory, gosh dang it. Well, I guess it matters because like I'm not putting like much emotion into it. It's just more like a, gosh dang it, we lost. Gosh darn it, you put up one hell of a fight, Jimmy. Yeah, that's kind of the energy that I'm trying to bring with that. Never mind. So, like, you know, never you mind. Quote from Sam, I forced myself to learn Dex just because of the aesthetic. Exactly. Exactly. And, like, it's the same thing with Yu-Gi-Oh! And other games, right? I am learning Super Quants because Super Quants are a really fucking cool archetype. What the? Oh, okay. For some reason, I thought the Summoning Stone was the thing I was trying to click. Okay, no. This just wants me to catch stray Gallicats with the things and stuff. Like, I'm not into Super Quants because they're really cool mechanically, although they are. I am into Super Quants because they are literally Sentai. They are literally a Sentai archetype that gets to play with giant mechs that combine into a super tower boss monster. That is why I am interested. It is all about the aesthetic for me. When I build all of my commander decks, it is about the aesthetic of this is going to be filled with cards that I like. And yes, I will play cards just because they are just like good, but I need to make sure that there is some element of the deck that I like. Maybe that's a creature type like angels, zombies, dragons, stuff like that. But there also just needs to be a mechanical identity that I think is really cool, like living weapons and job select or Sunforger deck. I'm not, and this is kind of in opposition to what I was talking about yesterday, with people who will literally just pick up any deck that they think they have the best chance of winning with and then play it because they don't particularly care, right? Like it's just a deck to them. It's just a way to interface with the game and then play it. They don't like them for the mechanics, but because they are mechanicals. Sam, I kind of get what you're saying, but you're also gonna have to like you might want to rephrase that just a skosh. Let's see, what was I? Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so like when robots. Oh, right, yeah. Okay, yeah. That's what I thought you were getting. You don't like them for the mechanics, but you like them because they are piloting mech. Yeah, exactly. I got there. When my wife was playing at one of the more recent large events for pre-modern, her opponent in the finals was a pro who just kind of borrowed a deck and just played it. Like, he was super casual to the format. And, you know, the choice of deck didn't really matter to him. And when you are a pro player, that is the mindset that you kind of have to have since you are going to play multiple formats. And especially if you're playing standard, you're playing to, you know, regularly... Okay. Weird. But now, if you're trying to make it as a pro, you are going to have to compromise on decks that you are attached to personally versus the decks that you think give you the best chance of winning. And like, you can certainly, you know, make a habit of playing at a high level with decks, with only decks that you like. But you also have to recognize that that's just going to make your life harder and we can't all be that one guy in the Yu-Gi-Oh tournament scene who plays exclusively stun decks. Even though I have heard he's like phenomenally. Where's that? Collecting right now. That last. ¿Dónde es? There it is. There's the cone. So, deck has to be mechanically filling. the deck has to have an aesthetic that I fuck with. The third thing that really sells me on a deck is its uniqueness to the format. And this was something I didn't quite articulate until literally... I really like getting to play with individual cards. For a long time, making decks was a means to an end to play cards. Building multiple commander decks out of all the different color combinations and stuff like that was a means to play all these cards that I thought were so cool. As opposed to, like, you know, trying to craft a deck. If I wanted to play with a card, I was going to find a way to jam it into a deck, regardless of how well it actually worked for the deck. I wasn't thinking about the deck, I was thinking about the card, the individual card. You know, losing the forest for the trees, as it were. Pre-modern gives me a chance to play with some of these older, underpowered cards that are really heckin' cool, but don't have a home in other formats because they have since been power crept. Zombie Infestation is probably the big one for that deck in particular. I have thought about putting it into a commander deck, where it's a free discard outlet and it makes a single token. And like, the use cases for that are so slim. And also, there are just better options. Like, there's a 2-mana enchantment that will let you discard a card to make a token. It costs 1 mana, and you can only activate it once per turn. But generally speaking, I think that's going to be a little more efficient than having to discard a second card. Like, I can put that into Carador, right? I can put that into Carador. I can discard 2 dredge cards. But then I'm only really wanting to dredge back 1 card at a time, unless I have a draw engine, like a... Pretend I have a Phyrexian Arena in play, and then I can dredge both those cards back. Like, in that instance, sure, you might be able to make a case for Zombie Infestation, but for the most part, it's not going to make its playing command. Maybe you can build it into Canlander. Maybe you can make a Canlander version of the deck, but you're just not going to have quite the same consistency or effectiveness that you would in a 60 card. You can play multiples of it. Oh, there's the Gallicat. Gotta give the Gallicats their cinnamon. Dried Crowd Crawl. Aw, the Gallicatties are purring. That's... Oh, right. Okay, yep. Front lines are all done. Is there anything else? Or, nope, they're all done. So those are those are my 3 pillars, you know? I love it when a deck is unique to the format, lets me play with cards that I wouldn't get to play with otherwise, has mechanically engaging play pattern, also has an aesthetic that really matches my sensibilities. When I was playing Cardfight Vanguard, the 2 decks that I really loved playing were Spike Brothers and Angel Feather. I tried out a few others, but those were the 2 that really stuck with me. Spike Brothers are a demonic football team. They are literally a football team like you're playing Blood Bowl, and they're filled with ogres and demons, succubi, skeletons, zombies. It was great. I loved it. Because I was also like, you know, football. Angel Feather is really cool because they allowed you to swap your hand cards and cards in the field with cards in your damage zone. So it turned your damage zone into a second hand. So there was a lot of decisions to be made with what card you're going to swap and where and how. The sequencing became really important in order to like maximize the power boost that you would get every time you damage swap. FIFA football or American football? Football Americano. Football Americano. Yeah, we're talking about, like, you know, throwing the throwing the leather football like 50 yards. We're talking touchdown. We're talking, blitzes and tackles. We're talking severe head injuries that I would not want any of my children going through. But, we're talking Ice Shield 21, which is actually a really fucking manga series. Would highly recommend. Oh, I'm done with it. Oh, yeah, I'm done with it. Go ahead and... we want to do our... yeah, let's go do our leveling. Oh, we're leveling roulette. Pop. White mage? White mage or scholar? Which one do we want to level up first? Because I've got Astro... no, I need to get Astro to 80 first. Yes, I need to get Astro to 80. So yeah, Angel Feather and Spike Brothers both had that that flexibility, that decision making, the aesthetic that I loved it. Angel Feather, true to its name, was literally a clan full of angels. I mean, yeah, they also had like some doctor stuff that was kind of incidental. I could leave or take that. But hey, they had giant hospital mechs. Giant hospital mechs. That's so dope, right? And then it also helped that I really liked the character that was playing. That was, oh, are we playing? Oh, we're doing Dust Vigil. And it also helped that I really liked the characters that were playing Angel Feather. Don't tell Nyx I don't think I can stand playing Scholar anymore. Oh no! What's wrong, Fran? What's wrong? Why can't you do the thing? Why can't you do the thing, buddy? It's okay. You can tell me. I got you. IDK, I picked up to level, and it's just way more stressful than White Mage. That is astonishing to hear, actually. Well, no. Huh. Which one's more stressful, Scholar or White Mage? The answer may surprise you. Like, my wife would say that, White Mage is incredibly comfy because you could just focus on DPS all the time, so that would probably be about right. But, like, for me personally, Scholar is just so comfortable. Yeah, tell me about it. Which part? Which part? The fact that, White Mage, you can just do kind of whatever, or... ooh, that is no bueno. I'm gonna have to actually, think... I might have to resort to overhealing just a tad. That Scholar somehow more stressful work. See... That feels weird to me. That feels weird to me because I actually prefer Scholar on the grounds that I don't have to worry about, like, regen healing. I can just put up shields before the thing happens, and then you don't take damage, right? And then you can just use your natural healing skills to heal yourself. So a regen wife. If they don't take damage... Isn't that true for regen too? Scholar's more stressful. You have to cite with APA 7 and you have to use recent sources. You have to read entire papers that you won't ever use. You know what? Fair, fair, fair. Alright, can I stop being stunned, please? Can I stop being stunned, please? Go. Anyway. So what my wife was basically saying was, you know, shields are useless if everyone is good and doesn't stand in the bad. Whereas if regen, if they stand in the bad and they take damage, well then that's just better. Like, I don't know. Also, like, you have Eos, and Eos just handles most of the healing for you. Like, I actually just don't get it. Ron's just gonna keep agreeing with your wife. And like, hey, you know what? That's his prerogative. So what I'm picking up is that Fran does not like barrier mages because he doesn't like Sage and he doesn't like Scholar. Although he hasn't had a chance to really play Sage yet. So also, I don't think he has had any reason to be impressed by Sages in the few times that he has played with them. And then also, I don't expect him to play to enjoy playing Sage. So, like, you know. Yeah, Fran's probably going to be a white mage main when he, as his healer. I can see it. I can see it already. Feels easier to dig yourself out of a hole with white mage than a Scholar. Well, see, that's your problem right there. You're not supposed to be in a hole in the first place with Scholar. Like, if you just put up the shields in time, then they don't take the damage, and then you don't have to recover. But, you know, there is also, like, legitimate preference to preferring reactive healing to proactive healing. Like, that's a very real preference. Life is all about the white mage supremacy. And, like, you know what? Everyone's entitled to their opinion. It's not like I'm saying that, Okay, chat. I have to be very careful with how I say this. Because we have heard so many people say this before that, you know, white mage is... And this is not me saying this. I'm clarifying right now that this is not me saying this. That white mage is brain dead boring. White mage is brain dead boring. I prefer Astro because you have so many more buttons and you have so much more party support. This is, once again, not me saying this. This is just every time this conversation comes up. Scholars have round glasses, shields, and read a lot. Mashu Kirlight is a scholar. True. You can't say Mash is a paladin that lost her sword. It's just not true. Unless you want to go... Oh, wait, hold on. I don't think there's an Emperor's New Sword. No, there is not. There's absolutely not. There absolutely is not an Emperor's New Sword. But if there was, you could get some Mashu cosplays. That'd probably be really sick, too. What am I doing here? No, there's only Emperor's New Weapon. There's only Emperor's New Fist and Emperor's New Shield, yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. I don't remember how this fight's supposed to go. And the only thing I can think of is, big punchies. Yeah, there we go. Everything worked out. Cool helmet, bro. White Mage is brain dead fun. Holy, holy, holy. Medica 2. Holy, holy, holy. Aim. Amen. You have my wife's approval. Despite the fact that she is talking at a normal volume, she actually can't be picked up on my mic. But like, you know, that is both good and great. Kill for Emperor's weapons. Yeah, I can see that. I can see the joy in there. Man, there's a chest over there that we're just not gonna get. Let's see. How low can you go? Don't worry. Let the DPS have their enrichment. Just keep the tank engaged. So weird. It's so weird that so like, here's the thing, right? We call White Mage the green DPS because it has like so many tools for keeping the party up that they can just focus on pushing their 1 and 2 buttons for damage. But I still feel that same way for Scholar, right? Like, I can just go ahead, set up shield, and then spam and then slap that ground over and over and over again. I mean, yeah, there's no stun, that's true, but like, you know, I still have fairy friends. Still a fairy friend. She's keeping. We can go ahead and put the tank on a leash and everything. I am the most comfortable on Gunbreaker and Skull. Like, that is just the truth. Any sort of DPS job is where I start stressing. So I guess I don't know. Like, I get it. I absolutely get it. But like, consider getting yourself a co-healer who will take care of all the healing for you. Yeah, the Scholar. Because the Scholar has Fairy. Scholar has Heals Fairy. Heals Fairy is your co-healer, so she takes care of everything. Her job to heal. And also just like, it feels really rewarding to know a fight and know the tells and be like, okay, time to put shields up. Because in my defense, and with my line of thinking, you can always put up shields to prevent damage, but you're not always going to be able to put up regen if people aren't taking damage. Yeah, that's why you got the abilities, but... Oh, yeah, that's why you got your lilies. But even that, like... Come on. Alright, now we're in the rock. I'm not being pulled in by the jail, so... In fact, as soon as this jail's over... Next. I'm trying to think. Oh, was I supposed to heal? My bad. My bad, y'all. And that's the thing. Because I have AOs just like constantly on standby, never having to spend a button on a regen, just having the regen just like be there and existing, it makes me feel like I never have to actually worry about pushing buttons for anything. But I like the shield because you can crit on shield. And you can... But then you are pressing buttons that aren't damage. I know, but like, have you considered? Crit shield, go burr? Yeah, regular heals can crit, but like, you get to see the crit on the shield go above people's health bars sometimes. Whereas if you just, you know, you crit on heal, You might get to see the actual number, but you don't get to see the big bar. You can only ever heal someone to max. Yep, we have an Endbringer Joyer here. Yay, 2 player comps. Alright, and that will fill out Heaven's Ward leveling, so I don't have to do any vaults this week. Now we just gotta clear out... Well, I can do all of these except Thornton's. Yeah! Now the good news, Fran, if you don't want to play Scholar, just play Summoner. Just play Summoner. You know, level up Scholar anyway. Don't you just love that? That Bowl of Embers free. I know I do. Here's the secret hero. I dislike Summoner even more. I forgot that you hate Summoner. I was thinking about that literally this past weekend when I was playing through the Summoner story quest. I was like, man, how can Fran hate how clean and simple this is? This is great. I love Summoner. Summoner's great. All my homies love Summoner. All my homies want to give Summoner a little smooch. And I was like, well, either way, he still doesn't like Summoner. People keep telling you Summoner's brain dead, eat crayons, DPS, and I just don't see it. Maybe that's because you don't know what Summoner was like beforehand. There was a time when Summoner was like super omega complicated spaghetti rotation, and it just was not good praxis. And I actually have to do the nails. Rip me. Like, Summoner used to play like World of Warcraft Warlock is how I heard it put. It was focused on managing dots, and the actual Summoner gameplay was, I don't want to say non-existent, but it definitely wasn't really the focus of the job. And then they reworked it in Endwalker. And it got so much smoother. It got so much more streamlined. It was basically a brand new job. And it felt much, much, much closer to being like an actual song. You want Dot Mage back? Too bad. You will play Bard for Dot Mage and you will like it. You will play Bard Dot. You will never ever see any other job regularly use dots in its rotations ever again. Okay, healers don't count, honey. Healers don't count because like they just have no other DPS buttons, period. You get your dot, you get your one button that you push, and that's lies, paladins and healers. Okay, paladin doesn't count either. Look, multiple jobs get like a dot. They get a damage over time. Bard is the only job left that has to hold multiple dots. Like, you've got Caustic Bite, you got Storm Bite, and some other stuff with like the songs and whatever. Oh, and Bard gets 2, so much more. I'm gonna hover over that band. I'm gonna hover over that band hammer. No, I'll do it. I'll fucking do it. Don't you try me. The damage over time of Fisher must be scary. Okay, that's good stuff. Okay. You would ban your mod and VIP? I'll fucking do it. I'll fucking do it. I'll fucking do it. Anyway, we are at the end of stream now, though. So any of the other trials and stuff we'll take care of during the dead time throughout the rest of the week. Well, yeah, have you seen the ecological damage Hero's done as Fisher? I fish responsibly, thank you very much. Alright, so, folks, let's go ahead and start getting ready for the raid. Don't head on out just yet. We like to pass on our love and support to other streamers here. If you know someone who's cool, if you know anyone who, you know, maybe they're a VTuber, maybe they're transgender, maybe they're streaming Final Fantasy XIV, maybe they're streaming Magic the Gathering, you know, maybe they're streaming something else that I really like, then go ahead and hit that lead the raid redeem. In the meantime, I want to wrap up a thought that I had earlier. So back when I was talking about like Angel Feather being really cool, being one of those deck types that I was really engaged with. That's also one of the things that I'm really enjoying about the Mastamon deck that Lila handed me. I really like the fact that it's kind of like Angel Feather in that you're doing a lot of swapping cards in and out of your security, right? Because the Patamon can digivolve into something from security, and then you'll replace it with a vaccine from your hand. There's an Angelwomon card that will dig cards out of your security and stuff like that. That has Angel Feather feel to me, and I really appreciate it. When I was playing Buddy Fight, one of the decks that I was doing really well with at the regional level was a super heroine deck, Magical Girls. And it had kind of that same sequencing where I had like a board I would be putting together, but it was and the sequencing was a little more linear, but it was still Magical Girls, so I fucked with it. So, you know, anytime that I'm going to get into a game and play it, I really, really, really value being able to express myself through it. So when I play fighting games, I'm going to be playing characters that have my aesthetic, that have my taste for mechanical. Anyway, let's see who's currently available on Raid. Following lives currently doing Arc Raiders. Oh right, it's Yu-Gi-Oh! Tuesday. We can lead everyone with Vampire Lane. Little Creep was doing Super Wars. Going for like. Yeah, let's go ahead and hit up Lane, shall we? Check. Gotcha. Last time, Sam managed to sneak one in at the very last second. Ooh, okay. Lane is... Oh, that's my phone. So we're going to go ahead and head on out. Folks, I will catch you next time. Same hero time, same hero channel. Later. Bye. Uh-huh.